Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Reality Realness with 3 S's. I'm your host here, Chantele Francis, here with my lovely co-host, Tanya. How are you today, Tanya?
I'm great. It's water this time.
All good. This is water
time.
cheers. So there's our cheers, our water cheers. Ding. So we are here to talk about The Bachelorette episode 5. I feel like it's like not, I was like, is it really episode 5? Am I missing a week? But like, no, it's episode 5. And I think it's because they're messing up with the pacing of it that is making it really a bit of a slog to get through. You know, I'm just kind of like, I want it to pick up. I just want to point out, we probably talk about it again, but like that end of season trailer, I was like, oh, I want to watch that. Like,
I know. It was like, made me feel like, oh, do I actually want to continue this journey? I was like, damn you. The teaser's more exciting than everything I've just seen.
I was like watching and I was trying to look for the point because I'd watched it after it aired. And so I know that you had messaged me at around 8:30. So I'm like, oh, what happened? What was it that happened that I got the message? So when we get to that point where I think it was, I'm excited to talk about it. So yeah, this episode wasn't that great. It started off with, all the guys knowing that everybody that's there now is there for the right reasons. And I'm just kind of like, I really think that this storyline kind of sucks. I don't really care.
Yeah, especially because how could they say that? Like, how could you possibly know that?
Well, and the thing is too, and we've talked about it so many times, and it's the fact that nobody's really there for the right reasons because there's only going to be one winner. So if you're also kind of just looking at like your options as to what could potentially happen after, that is just being logical, and you're putting yourself in a situation where things might happen. And it could be even as much to not want to participate because it's like, ooh, I don't want to be under a microscope. I don't want people to be in my business. So maybe I don't want to go on the show for this journey with Katie because afterwards things might not be great for me. So I think it also goes both ways, and nobody's really ever talking about the fact that you should contemplate going on a national television show, exposing yourself, allowing this network to do whatever they want with your image. And I mean, and if being the Bachelor is a thought, it's just probably one of many thoughts as to what could happen after the show. So I'm bored with it, but we're going to still talk about it some more. A lot more. Because Blake is coming into the mix here. Blake is worried about being that guy that comes in mid-season and disrupts it. He knows what it's like because he had those 4 or 5 guys interrupt Tayshia's season when they already were kind of getting to know her. So I kind of get it, but like, he knows that he's doing this. I think I read that he said that he wanted to start from the beginning. Like he wanted to come there for the whole time, and the producers made him come at this mid-season. Did you hear that as well?
I didn't hear that, but that was like 100% what I got from watching it. Like, we already know that the timeline's a bit wonky from what we've seen because, as we talked about last week, of when Blake came in and when Katie knew he was there versus like when the order of the dates were in the rose ceremonies. And Blake even like made a comment, I think, that alluded to the fact that he had been waiting for a while. So it's clear that they just had him there isolated and we're just waiting to deploy him once they needed to shake things up. So now that the Thomas arc has ended, it's like, perfect, we got the bad guy out and now we got to bring something in to mix it up, just like the 5 guys last season.
And I know it's their job. I know they're creating a TV show. They're story writers. They're trying to make it dramatic. They're trying to make it interesting. But can't we just go back to the simplicity of this show, and it's just to watch a woman on her journey to find love? Because that is what drew us all in 15 years ago when we started, or 20 years ago when we started watching the show, is the possibility that these people could find love in this really odd circumstance. And so it's like we're losing completely that part of the story, and it's all about drama and kicking people off and creating this like huge hoopla on a TV series. And like, I really just wish they would get back to just finding some love, because the drama will come. It happens.
Well, especially as heavy-handedly as they brought Blake in, because this like something to bring in. Like, it's like bringing in someone who's a repeat player with like such a boost and like so much intensity. And as we're about to discuss, like immediately get a one-on-one date. It's just like, this is too much played too quickly.
Well, and then, okay, so this is one thing that sort of bothered me. I know it's scripted, but I'm watching it just, I'm trying to watch it just as a viewer. And so she has a conversation with Caitlin, who had a similar situation happen with, what's his name, Nick, coming onto her season after trying to court her beforehand. And she's like, well, like, I'm going to be I don't know if she actually told him she was going to be the Bachelorette, but like, I think he knew that she was going to be there and he wanted to join, and he was sending her emails, and they were interacting before. So it's quite similar of a situation. And she was like, yeah, like, it sucks. All the men hated it. It was really, really bad. Like, she did not seem to endorse this move at all. And Katie was like, oh man, like, oh, that sucks. Like, so she was, it seemed like she was taking this in. Then we get to cut to James wanting a one-on-one. I'm like, who is this guy? Like,
no.
It's fine because he's on my team. I want him there obviously as long as possible. But like, James in the box, like, you're not getting a one-on-one at all. Like, it's
sorry, James.
Going to happen. So then Tayshia comes in, and okay, I don't know if I should even say this out loud because people might be mad at me, but I'm not enjoying Tayshia's guidance, we'll say, in this particular, in this Bachelorette. I know she was told that she has to go and address these men, but I kind of felt as though she's like scolding them a little bit about, I'm just like, why are you like, he's a really good guy, and, he wants to come here for Katie, and this is Katie's journey, not your journey. And then she just walks off. Like, I mean, she might have said bye, they just going to cut it like that, but like, just walks away without like having any sort of dialogue with them. And I was like, I just thought it was rude. I thought her delivery wasn't really sensitive to all these men that have put their lives on hold to pursue Katie. I get it that it's her journey, but it's also theirs as well. And so, I don't know, the lack of sensitivity towards the men's feelings was just a little bit harsh, and I didn't really enjoy that.
It landed awkwardly for sure, and was being played for maximum awkwardness. But I think Tayshia's hosting style is like very presentational, and the way that she says things very much like feel like lines that she's like reading to me. I like listening to her in conversation with someone much more than her kind of in this hosting position. So yeah, I think they could do away with them kind of interjecting in this way. Like, I know it's like kind of what Chris did, but I think it just needs to be either like an entirely different vibe if you're going to have two people, or have a host. But like, it's too like awkward now, I guess.
Well, and yeah, especially because they're so different, right? Like,
yeah, they're very different.
It would make me maybe enjoy them as hosts, like duo hosts, if they're a little more similar, or more like, I don't like a guy, a woman, and a man. Like, you know what I mean? Because like, their style doesn't really match. Their heights don't really match. How they interact with Katie don't really match. It just seems as though they're both hosting separately, and they haven't become like a duo. So that would be like what I was hoping for in the beginning, is that like they would just learn how to have some synergy with like amongst the two of them, and it would become some new entity, and it would be cool. But it doesn't seem like that synergy is happening. Well, not for me anyways. And I'm not enjoying.
I don't think they've really been set up for success, right? Like, I feel like their role is not well defined by the people who have hired them to do it. So like, that combined with them just trying to like bring their personality to it and like make something of this like very random thing that it's become, it's just not working. Like, I said, I enjoy them in the group date. I like them like in that setting, but I don't really like the convos or like the trading off lines or whatever. It's like, you could have just picked one person then.
Yeah, I'm not feeling it at all. And like I guess I just had higher hopes as to what I thought it would become. And I have to remember that neither of them are actors or like improvers. And so I think that I was expecting them just to become this natural like MC duo, and like they just would create something that was super awesome, and they just don't have that skill or know that they have the freedom to be able to create something new. So
Yeah.
I'm just a little bit disappointed there. But when she's just like, and that man will be here soon, it just leaves. I was like, okay, bye, Tasha. So then Blake walks in, and Aaron is just like, Blake. Blake.
This is clearly cut out of a different conversation entirely, because it was like silent, Blake. And you're just like, wait, why would anyone do that? Why would a stranger walk in and you just say Blake like that out of nowhere? But I mean, Aaron might.
Aaron might, though. I actually didn't really think it was out of character for Aaron.
Oh, I thought it was like
he's so like he's just like one of those guys that loves to hate on other guys. Like he just kind of likes gossiping about people that he doesn't like.
I'm kind of obsessed with him now.
I'm almost there. Because that Blake was really good.
There's another moment today which I transcribed.
Oh, thank you. I didn't transcribe anything today, so I'm so excited for your moment.
He's just like, it made me go from thinking, what is going on with Aaron? But I'm entertained because he always hates the people that I hate. To I am now a fan because he just is so funny. I don't think he realizes how hilarious he is.
Hi, Sophie. Sophie's in the house. Sophie says by the time this season of The Bachelorette is over, Bachelor in Paradise will be on, since she has a whole summer block of the Bachelor franchise on tap. Yes, it's definitely. I think it might overlap actually.
Oh, really?
Or maybe, well, there's what? Like it starts August 7th, was it, or August 20th? I feel like it was a month from today, around this week, when Paradise starts. I thought it was. I could be completely wrong. And so that's only four weeks. Could they wrap it up in 4 weeks, like an 8-week season? Like
August 16th.
Okay, so it'd be 9-week season. Oh, maybe they could do that.
I feel like, is it usually shorter though? Because they put it on a couple times a week, right? It's on twice a week.
Wait, which one?
Like Monday, Tuesday, Bachelor in Paradise.
Oh, I mean, I don't know, but I'm just wondering for the Bachelorette though. So that's only 5 weeks from now, and that would be 9 weeks. I guess 9 weeks would be short, but it was apparently a shorter season, so.
It's like kind of obvious what direction it's going at this point. So
is it though? It's a little bit like I'm still. Well, I want to hear your opinion at first.
Mm-hmm.
So Blake definitely comes in and he knows how they feel, and he's being decent with like how he's trying to be like, I'm sorry, like I know this sucks, blah blah blah. You know, Michael, people are gonna hate me, but Michael, this episode was not it for me. Even though he's on my team, you know, he's like, we're all here for Katie because Katie's awesome. And I'm just like, is she really that awesome? Like, why are you laughing at me?
I'm just thinking about like his arc this episode. And I'm like, that is not it for me. And I'm excited to hear this because it's definitely going to be an unpopular opinion. Because people are just so drawn into like an emotional,
but like,
story.
Don't they have I love a good emotional story. Don't get me wrong, I cry.
Yeah, and I don't disagree with you. I actually don't disagree with you. He wasn't it for me, but yes, sorry.
No problem. And so there was an aggressive knock on the door. I was just like, wow. I don't know if you've ever done Meisner, but Meisner you do knocks and activities. And so usually you have to like, you name the knock. So someone like knocks, it's like, oh, that's an aggressive knock. And then, you start the repeating. And that's the only thing that I'm thinking of is like, what's on the other side of that door? What's their activity? What are they knocking with such urgency for?
That was a really intense knock.
It didn't even sound like, it sounded like metal against steel. Like, I was like, what? What is this knock? And what the knock was to bring the date card because Hunter really wants this one-on-one, and he thinks that he's going to get it. And then so rude, I think, of Katie. I mean, I know it's the producers, but like to allow them to give Blake the one-on-one. Like,
right away. Oh my God.
And then to add like salt to the wound, Katie
100%.
enters, goes and sits down on the couch, not even dressed cute though. I'm sorry, Katie, I didn't think you look great in this little scene. It just that over the baggy sweatshirt and running shoes, it just was like just wasn't an outfit for me. And then she goes and squeezes in, and it was just like awkward. And then she basically is like, okay, well, Blake and I are going on our date now.
I have to follow my heart. Okay, girl, like obviously. But Blake, do you expect them to be like, okay, fine? Like he literally just came in and everyone was like, oh my God, it's Blake. And then literally 2 seconds later, there's a date card for Blake. Oh my God, that's just like so dry. They did that for max drama.
I mean, the date card said, Blake, let's make up for lost time. Like even the date card, rude. Because like, you know what, there's 15 guys there or so. Like they would all love to have a date with you. And some of those guys would want to have a second date with you. And so the fact that Blake swoops in week, whatever, like comes in, gets a date card and they're supposed to be like applauding. Like, I'm just like, what? So rude. And she's like, all right, guys, I'm going to head out on my date. God. So insensitive.
They're like, what the hell?
So insensitive. Hi, Natalie. So, Natalie, how do you think Chris would do on Dancing with the Stars? So, I would actually, if Chris Harrison did Dancing with the Stars, I may start standing him because because he takes himself really seriously, right? And you can't really for Dancing with the Stars. So if he went on there and really tried really hard and like really got into it and allow himself to be just changed by like, you know, learning how to dance and do something that's out of his comfort zone, I would respect that a little bit. Obviously, it would be better if he did some of the work, but I would be interested in seeing him be on Dancing with the Stars. Do you think he'll do it?
I was so when I messaged you about this, I literally like didn't even think that it was a possibility that he could be dancing on Dancing with the Stars, that I thought that it meant he was gonna be hosting Dancing with the Stars. So then once I grasped what we were actually talking about here, I thought TBH, I feel like Chris would be definitely not out first, but definitely also not one of the amazing people there. Kind of middle ground and might be able to ride a coast of votes from like people who hate cancel culture and are like, you know, defending him for no reason. So I think he would make it like further than he would be a good dancer.
Well, what's I forgot the politician guy's name? Sean
Spicer.
Yeah, so he was on and he made it far considering there was no part of him that was good. And so I do feel like Chris Harrison would have that same fan base and maybe even more so. And so I think that he could get far.
Bachelor people do well on this even if they're not good dancers. Like Grocery Store Joe or Nick Viall, not great dancers, but like got the votes. Hannah almost won.
Didn't she win?
Did she win?
I think she won.
Oh, God.
I didn't watch the end. I was so annoyed. I'm like, I'm not watching. She was good. It's not like she's not a great dancer at all, but I was interested in seeing other people win. I was never a Hannah Brown fan. And I'm just like, I don't want to see her TikToks. I don't want to see her Instagram lives. Like, I don't want to see her doing anything cutesy with her boyfriend. Like, she's not what I like to see in my celebrities. It's not me. So I didn't even watch the last thing. Cause I'm like, if she wins, I just don't want to see that. Like, I can't remember who Was she the last season? Or was that Caitlin? Caitlin was the same thing. I didn't want to see her win. I didn't see the last episode either because I wanted from Catfish, Nev from Catfish to win. I'm like, this is a man that like, men, it's a lot harder for men to pick up this ballroom style and be like a really great supportive partner. And I thought that Nev did such a great job. And so I was more impressed because Caitlin, she's a fantastic dancer, but she's a dancer. Like if I won the show, like I would hope that I would do really well because I'm already a trained dancer. And so and Nev, he took dance classes when he was like 8, but like I just was more impressed by his growth. And so, yeah, I didn't watch the last episode of hers either because it's like, oh, I don't want to see her win.
I just think Hannah, this ties into Katie actually, like just as a quick thing. This is a problem that I have with Katie and with Hannah Brown as bachelorettes. So the audience seems to like project a lot of themselves into these types of people and are so quick to defend and stand these two women that they know barely anything about, who over time, as we've learned with Katie this week, do have some pretty bad takes and are not necessarily like these incredible and like not flawed people. So I'm not saying I don't like them, but people are so quick to stand these women and it's kind of ridiculous. Like for even anyone in Bachelor Nation to be just like put to this pedestal when we don't even understand who they are as people is concerning to me. Like I actually critical about people. Like
I don't get it, to be honest. Like I think she's a kind, lovely, beautiful person, but I'm not like gonna be like, yes, go, yeah, girl, you get him, girl, yeah. Like I'm just like, really? This is what gets you riled up? This is what you need to support? It's shocking to me.
Her basicness is like what allows people to mirror themselves onto her in some way. Because she's not like, we've talked about this before, she's not like unattainably like out of this world. Like when you watch someone like JoJo, for example, I guess, or like I even referenced Emily before, you're like, these are like so stunningly like out of this world. Like I couldn't imagine someone so beautiful. Not to say that Katie's not, but it seems more like a person that's more relatable to the average person watching this show. Whereas JoJo and I would say Hannah's one of the more relatable ones too. Maybe that's also why it doesn't connect with the audience in the same way. So I feel like they want to like just like say Katie's the best. She's so positive, blah blah blah, anti-bullying, yeah. And it's like, no, she's okay. Flawed, and that's okay. Like we can have that discussion. We don't have to immediately defend everything that she does, like cursing out Thomas. Like come on.
I like the fact that people are just like, oh yeah, go Katie, go. Like I'm like, really? Like what? I thought we're not bullying people because like she in that situation was sort of acting, could be considered bullying because she has network, she has the television, she has the crew, she has producers, all knew that she was going to humiliate this man on national television and he was not going to be able to have anything that he could say for himself. And that is really like using your power in a way to make someone feel pathetic and small isn't very kind, and I don't think it's in alignment with what she claims to be supporting. So it's a big eye roll. I don't care if he's like the worst person in the world. I really just didn't like how she handled that situation. No. And I know she's saying that there's things about him that we didn't see. Well, I saw what I did see, I didn't enjoy. Yeah. And I can't really see anything that would warrant treating somebody that still did put their life on hold to meet you.
I agree.
Unfortunately. So yeah, Katie joins the men. Quartney, it was curious how they knew each other and like kind of posed the question that everyone wants to know. They didn't really answer it in a way that like I cared about, and they go off on their date. I do feel that though they're quite natural with each other. Blake and Katie, they have some sort of chemistry. It could be because he's been on the show before, but he does have an ease in his conversation and his delivery. It doesn't seem forced, and they do talk a lot about how natural it is between them. So yeah, they kiss they go horseback riding first, and Blake is scared of horses or whatever. And I'm always like, why do they make people go on horses? Like that's kind of, it's just, I know it's typical Bachelor, Bachelorette, but like, I don't know. I don't need to see the horseback riding date again. Would you go on a horseback riding date?
I would, but I like riding horses, so I wouldn't mind it. I think in the context of the Bachelor dates, it's not great.
It's not great. I mean, I do enjoy a good horseback ride. A friend of mine, for her Bachelorette, we went to Kelowna and we like went horseback riding, a big group of us, and like that was super cool. It was like really beautiful scenery and stuff like that. So I love a good horseback ride, absolutely. But like, where's your helmet? Like, you should be wearing a helmet on these horsebacks. Like, I've also been on a trail before, and we set up a picnic, and we didn't realize the picnic where we set up like our blankets and all of our food for after we went for a ride was on the trail. And so we were coming around, and we're actually like at a galloping pace, and all of them got spooked because they saw this like something distracting them that was not used to what they were seeing on this ride. And so all the horses were like staggering and fell over. And I actually nearly got trampled by a horse because it fell on me, and I was able to kick my legs out of the stirrups and like avoid getting like a horse fall on top of me. I definitely would have broken bones. So it's just dangerous. And I was happy to be wearing a helmet. And so I know it doesn't look great on TV to be wearing helmets, but I think it would be really important. I think they should start wearing, maybe even make them dress up in riding gear or something. Mm-hmm. Like, that's cute, but I want to see them be safe, because someone was just like, he doesn't like horses and he doesn't know how to ride it. And like,
he doesn't know how to ride.
Scared of them. And I know that there's probably someone there with the carrot, you know what I mean? And actually leading them, but like,
I'm sure. But also to like, you know, like kick the sides to make it start moving can be actually really dangerous if you don't actually know what you're doing, because it could signal the horse to start running faster.
Yeah, you're like, oh, like, and just throw you back. Like,
and you're like, ooh. Anyways, he did it. He did it.
What I mean, good for you, Blake. Good for you. So Katie definitely feels natural around him. And he's saying like, oh, I'm getting that feeling. I'm starting to get the feeling. And it's not butterflies, but it's, and you know what? I do like that feeling. So if he's not lying about it, like, I do think that symbolizes that they have a connection, if it's what I think he's feeling. And I felt that they kissed pretty quickly. I was like, oh, we're kissing already. And then she's all like, oh, you're a good kisser too. Check. I was like, eye roll.
They're both dorks. And like, I feel like that's kind of why they really work together. Like, they're equally as corny in the same ways.
Yeah, I kind of want her to date him. I think I want him to be her partner, because when I'm picturing her with everybody else that's left, I'm kind of like, I don't think that both of the other parties will be as happy as they would be potentially together.
Yeah, I think they're well matched. But okay, there's two things I want to mention. Can somebody please let me know what Blake meant when he said, quote, there's portions of the year where I go to Africa for a month?
Oh, I remember hearing that, and I don't know. I never heard about this.
Okay. And then the sofa in the middle of the desert, a classic, just in the middle of nowhere, a couch.
And you know they just love
in this barren land
to create a moment in the middle of nowhere. They always do it. They bring out the blanket, or they bring out the couch, or they bring out the bench, or they bring out the awning.
In the middle of nowhere. It's ridiculous.
So ridiculous. Dave Neal posted today that there is a rumor that ABC wants Julianne Hough as the next Bachelorette. After I would take that in a second. I really enjoyed Julianne Hough. I mean, I feel like isn't she still married, or did they break up? Oh, brutal.
I don't know. I'm not really up to speed with what she's doing, but I think like the audience of the show would probably go crazy for that.
I honestly I like her. I like her brother Derek. I mean, I know a lot of people don't like Derek. I thought they were both fantastic on Dancing with the Stars. Like, they always made their partners super good. She's beautiful. She would be fun. She's engaging. She's been doing other type of television and hosting stuff and judging. Like, I think that she would be a really great Bachelorette. That people, like, I feel like the dates would be exciting because she's exciting. Like, she's done so much. And so I 100% would be down with that. We were talking about them taking it to the next level and bringing some celebs in here.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like make some, let's just see some, higher status.
It'll tie perfectly into Chris's appearance on Dancing with the Stars after.
Don't,
So
don't
book
kill
it.
Hi, Dolores. Julian Huff is is also a big dork. I mean, she
Sure.
doesn't take herself too seriously. Definitely.
Blake.
Blake. So I wondered too about Blake and Africa. Could it be for his occupation? Oh yeah, he is a wildlife guy.
Oh,
like,
maybe
he has like owls or something. What does he have? What's the animals that he has that are a little bit?
He does work in it's something to do with the wildlife industry.
So maybe he's like a conservationist, if that's the right word.
Well, maybe he can teach Katie more than one country in Africa then if he goes there all the time.
Shots fired. Okay, Sophie wants to see Demi Lovato do the Bachelorette. She might be too famous. But I could see them maybe doing that to rebrand her image because she went to rehab and she's been having a lot of growth in her own, arc. So that should be a pretty good Bachelorette as well.
I thought I saw them doing another thing with somebody else. A TV show, I want to say. Maybe it's a song though. TBD.
With Demi Lovato?
Mm-hmm. It'll come to me.
And she dated Mike from The Bachelor, right?
Yeah.
So maybe she's like really likes it. And maybe she's in talks. Like I'd stand that for sure. That's a good guess. We should start petitioning people and be like, we want Julianne Hough. We want Demi Lovato. I would definitely be into that. So Greg and Conor are chatting about Blake, and Greg has a pretty good read, being like, yeah, I think he likes that she likes him. Yeah, I think that they have a connection. Yeah, I thought it was pretty, and yeah, he's her type. And so I thought it was pretty interesting that Greg was able to really suss this out already. And this is where I first start to seeing Greg have maybe some cracks in his confidence or his whatever act he's putting on. This is the first time that I was thinking in my head, I'm like, is he going to leave the show?
Yeah. He knows he's up against a challenge now. And I think she has a more natural chemistry to me with Blake than with Greg.
Yes, and while they're having this conversation, of course, there's the montage of Katie and Blake rolling around in the hay, like literally rolling around the hay.
Wild.
The Bachelor. So another date card arrives, and obviously Hunter is really hoping that it's going to be him. No, not on this date because he doesn't want to be on the group date because he wants to be on the second one-on-one date. And then they start naming off the names. Greg, Quartney, Aaron, Mike P, Michael, Andrew M, Josh, Justin, Brendon, James, Conor, Trey, and Hunter. I was like, why is there still the entire cast on the show? Like
13 people, was it? Like
so many. He kept on saying another name. I'm like, oh, they are still here. Oh my God, they're still here too. There's too many people.
Yeah.
They need to cut it. They need to get rid of half.
Also, why is Brendon there if we're not going to see any interaction with Blake?
Maybe there has been interaction and we haven't seen it because it's not going to be a storyline.
Oh my goodness. So disappointed in this.
Yeah, it's not really paying off. Happy about it because I need as many points as I can get because you're just like clobbering me. But yeah, I don't see, there's no payoff so far for the Brendon still being here. They haven't dated. They don't talk. I'm like,
I know.
What's happening?
I wanted that Canadian connection.
Well,
Instead,
maybe
I got nothing.
Maybe we will get some next week. Maybe. But it wouldn't be great if they don't show anything. I'll be annoyed. Definitely annoyed. Because the only reason why I chose him was I was like, oh, but he knows Blake. So,
Yeah.
Get some points here. So the date card said, love is a battlefield. Heart Katie. And so that means that Andrew S. is going to be getting the one-on-one, which we knew was coming at some point. And so I'm happy to see him get it. I definitely like him. So at the date, like the dinner portion of the date with Blake, they get right into very serious question. Now, did you see a trigger warning when you watched it? Like, okay, I didn't notice it. It could be because I was writing. Yeah. But then I'd heard on another podcast that they were happy that there was one. And like, I know that me and you have been definitely speaking about the fact that, you know, there's a lot of people that have been really traumatized by similar situations to what we were going to be talking about. And so at least give them the opportunity to tune out if they're not interested in maybe reliving any of that trauma. So I was happy to hear that happened, because all I wrote down was, so Blake asked Katie, and this is a trigger warning if anybody is, you know, wants to step out for a moment, what makes you so sex positive? And I know that they get along, but how would you feel if somebody asked you that on a first date?
I think Blake doesn't really understand what sex positive is, and I'm confused as to why Blake is being considered sex positive, because he made a penis out of a sculpture. Like, that's not sex positive. I'm so confused.
Because he sleeps naked?
Has he done? Like, what has he done that I think Blake is probably like, oh, I like sex too, I'm sex positive, which is like, sure, I think probably part of it, but like that is not like the real meaning behind that, I feel. So I'm just very confused with this like assignment of these two people who once like talked or referenced to sex being sex positive in their respective seasons. Or I guess twice for Blake because he did that moaning challenge as well. But like what am I missing here? I don't understand.
I don't know. Yeah, so Dolores is with me here. Dolores thinks that it was a rude question. I don't know. Like, I know they're on The Bachelorette. They have to kind of get right into the heart of the conversations quite quickly. There's no natural progression, absolutely. But like, if somebody said to me on a first date, so what makes you so sex positive? I'd be like, you're a pervert. Like, I'm really grossed out right now. I don't really want to continue this date. It just grossed me out. I don't know. I didn't like it, but they get along. They know they like each other, so it didn't bother her. And this is the time that she lets Blake know the same story that she shared with the other men on the other group date a couple weeks ago, about the alleged assault that she experienced with, and then she ended up becoming a partner with this person. So he was he listened. I was expecting to see a little more shock on his face by, you know, with what she was revealing, but he didn't show it. He didn't flinch at all. And I did feel as though he comforted her in a way that I felt was good, kind of saying that, you know, I don't want to ever be somebody that you feel scared of, or I always want to be someone that you feel comfortable with. And so having that open dialogue. So I thought he handled it pretty well. How did you feel about it?
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be, first of all, the way he asked the question initially, he sounds so awkward when he speaks. Like, I felt like he just sounded ridiculous, even though the question was sincere. But I thought he reacted as well as you can expect anyone to react to receiving difficult information, you know? Like, everyone has a capacity to be able to hold space for that, and you just got to try your best in that situation. So I did think he handled it pretty well. I also think part of what Katie touched upon that was really important is also like the connection between her experience and how that affected her expressing herself sexually. I think that that's an important thing to put out there for sure. So I did appreciate that she spoke about that, and also spoke about potentially being in a relationship with someone and experiencing that, or continuing to pursue something because maybe at the time you felt like that's what you needed to do, you know? She touched on a lot of things that were actually, I think, important for people to think about. So I did appreciate that she went more in depth with it, even though I'm still uncomfortable with this show.
Exactly.
It's important to talk about it.
That's where I was kind of coming from, is that I was just, just turned off by the moment. And like, I definitely appreciate the fact that she feels comfortable and confident, and she is sharing, and there are people that are going to be mirrored their own experience in what she's living through. And so I appreciate her being that person for some people. But for me watching it, I just don't feel like it's a safe environment, even for her to be sharing it, whether she is or she isn't. I just feel unsafe for her. And so it's just a bit much for me.
And so then catching up or like getting caught up to where everyone else is her immediately like revealing this traumatic experience that happened to her. It's like, that's not how life works, you know? Like you can reveal that in a time that's appropriate, but because it's a Bachelor and we need to like push their relationship narrative forward, this is how they went about showing it. And I was just like, okay. And that's why I said I cannot with this when I sent you.
That's the text. It was there. Yeah. That's where I thought it was going to be. So Dolores wants to know, why was it okay for him to ask her that? No man ever gets asked that question. Do you know what? That's very interesting. I mean, I think it's because this show is about Katie, and Katie's the sex positive Bachelorette. And so, you know, he's already sent messages to her being like, I'm so proud of you. And like, you know, you were so great on the show. And so I think he's already been like dancing into the idea of who Katie is in his head, and this sex positive woman. And so I think that he didn't think that it was going to have stemmed from trauma. Like, I think he probably, most men, from my experience, they have this idealized version that these hypersexualized women have never experienced any negative trauma sexually. And from my experience, and the conversations that I've heard, at times this was what happens, is that to juxtapose like the negative trauma, they kind of want to take back their own sexual identity, and then they stand for something. So I think that he was just hoping that like, like I was always free and like, you know, whatever. Like, I think that he didn't think it was stemming from trauma, is probably why he felt comfortable asking that question. And I don't think any men really think that sexually positive women have ever had any negative sexual experiences. And from my experience, they all have. You know what I mean?
It also seemed a little prompted to me, or not prompted, but I definitely think someone was in his ear being like, you should ask about this.
It's so poorly worded though. I was just like, what makes
I think they wanted the word sex positive to be in it, because this is like, they're like, we gotta include this in every episode in case you forgot. This is like a running theme of the show.
What I would have liked him to ask her was, so Katie, you are being told that, like, we are being told that you are a sex positive Bachelorette. What does that mean to you? That's what I would have liked to hear.
Sure.
What does that mean? And like, that would have been, I don't think anybody would have been uncomfortable as a viewer. I think that if she felt like she wanted to share that, she wouldn't feel on the spot about it. And I think it would have been a better conversation, and I wouldn't be less cringe, you know?
Sure. Or he loves her bold personality. He could have asked her about that, you know? But here we are.
No. Maybe they already talked about it before the show. Maybe. I don't know. I don't think so, though. Hi, B-Bean.
Katie looked really good on this date, though. I will say the green dress that she had, and I think her hair up looks really, really nice. I thought she looked, in the evening portion, really nice.
Yeah, no, she did look very beautiful, that portion. Hundo, definitely, like, when you see her in the date, and then the night date, she looks like amazing. So you're going to get 2 5-pointers here, because you get a country concert on the Bachelorette, and Blake gets that date rose. So you got 10 points for this date.
Yeah.
Have you heard of Lane Handy before?
No.
I heard he was from American Idol.
He was really giving his best effort there.
What did you like? Did you like the lyrics and the title of the song? I Want to Memorize You.
No. Everything about this was my nightmare, my worst nightmare, actually.
I mean, I have to say that out of all the country music moments. This one, it was more palatable than some of the ones in the past. Like I didn't cringe as much. They were just joking about it a little bit, and I think that it allowed me to relax into it a little bit because they weren't taking it seriously. Thank you. Because, like, you can't take that moment seriously. It's just not a thing.
I just think nothing will top for me the iconic Chase Rice concert and everything that played out with Victoria. That, to me, the singer Chase Rice, like, as a question said by Peter, lives in my mind rent-free. Like, I think about it all the time. It's classic. And one of my favorite moments in the franchise is the orchestration of that date. So for me, that's number one, country music dates on the show. Iconic.
I definitely love that one. It was a moment. I'm always just like, oh God, is it going to be one of these? It's just so cringy. But this was the least cringy that I've seen in the last little while, for sure. So BB says, no previous Bachelor celebrated his sexuality like Blake did. I mean, I would think that, I'm going to roll my eyes, but Nick Viall would be the most sex positive, like, Bachelor.
Unfortunately, yeah. And I guess, Peter, no. Peter. No, sorry, I'm taking it back. Cursed windmill. So
I was just about to write. Okay, perfect. It was a good moment. Time. I heard though that Victoria Fuller is never returning to the show again. People have been like, please go on The Bachelor in Paradise, please. And she's like, I'm never going on the show again. I mean, they ripped her apart. they
also like what a journey she's been on. Like she dated Chris Soules so randomly. Like you do you, Victoria. Keep on entertaining us on Instagram.
Oh boy.
Love it.
Oh my God, Sophie's giving me some props here. I will catch up. It won't be like the challenge draft when I got killed right off the bat. Just kick me when I'm down, huh? Do you know what? I allowed them to win that one. No, actually, that one I was very close to. Oh no, All Stars I was really close to. But I think I was off by 5 points for All Stars. But yeah, Michelle beat me big time because she just had she had Josh, she had all the people not Josh, but people that were just fights, and then she had people that were there in the end that I definitely still don't think that they would all be there in the end, like the Amber and da. So she definitely did a good job. There's no way I'm gonna let her win the next one though. Never again. Victoria Fuller is a born again Christian. Oh.
Interesting.
Well, she would have a lot of support, I would think. I feel like a lot of the Bachelor fan base is Christian or religious.
Yeah, they'll probably love that.
I didn't know that though. Interesting. I'm gonna go and look.
I did think I heard about that on a podcast. Like she changed her lifestyle and everything, and she was trying, not necessarily to be celibate, but she was like purposely trying to not like sleep with people or something like this, I want to say. I think she's not drinking too, maybe, like a lot of stuff going on.
Okay. Good for her. Anything that makes her happy is great. So we got the group date, and we get the phrase, I think this is going to be fun. And whenever that phrase comes out, it's not going to be fun. And so Katie says sports is a big part of her life. Really? She played volleyball in high school. Okay. And so she wants to show some athletic legends to come to join her as they watch these men play. I don't even know what it's called right now. Anyways, it's Wells and Franco. Were you happy for the Franco appearance?
I'm so confused because I thought Franco was supposed to be like a photographer. So I'm just like, now this is just the Bachelor cinematic universe and everyone's a character and they can show up at any time. And the characters are Wells, Nick, Caitlin, Tayshia, apparently always, whoever else shows up later. Like they're just people that are in the mix and they're just here and they'll just come by and it doesn't matter what they're doing because they're just here. What is this? Why would Franco be doing this? I love it.
They wanted to put Franco in the shorts. I'm not actually. I think that's the whole reason.
That was literally just for that photo. Literally.
Exactly. So we can't wait to hear us talk about this date. This date. So they're going to be playing Bachelorette Bash Ball Battle, which is a mix between rugby and basketball. So I don't really like contact sports. I've never played rugby. I've never been, that's not my thing. I did ballet. I didn't do sports, you know? So it's just not in me to like that aggressive, like physical contact. I just don't like it. I did once, I think I've told this story before, but we did 3 months of like boxing classes. And then when we had to start sparring with people, like I got hit and I did get mad. And like, I know that you see red, then you go and you just start hitting, but like, I didn't like feeling rage like that. It didn't feel good. So I don't think I would enjoy this date, and I don't think I would enjoy watching this date because I also don't like seeing people getting hurt. And when like Hunter goes and tackles, and then like completely like wins. I can't remember who he hit, and he says to Katie like, that was for you."
I hate that. I don't like this forced violence because it's incentivized. It's like you have to win to get time with Katie. And these guys already, like, some of them don't like each other. And some people like to be aggressive in that setting. And I personally find that to be extremely unattractive. Like, the guy in a group of guys that is, like, taking the game the most seriously and, like, literally just trying to win, that it strips, like, all of the positive qualities away from them where they're just, like, driven by this desire to win. It's like, chill out, dude. Like, so, like, nothing about this is, like, something that I enjoy. And I especially like they're like tackling each other without like proper padding, and like someone could have actually seriously gotten injured as per usual with these dates. So it's just like, what was the purpose? Well, the purpose was exactly what played out, obviously.
So Greg also does like some sort of tackle of somebody, and Franco says to Katie like, "Ooh, I think that Greg has a crush on you," and she was like, "I hope they all have a crush on me," which I thought was the right answer, right response. They should all have a crush on her, but I did like a little bit seeing Greg not being so just like puppy dog eyes, you know, like seeing him have a little bit of like masculine like adrenaline or whatever, testosterone. Like it did make him a little bit more attractive, we'll say, in my eyes, because I just don't see that side of him very often. But in general, on a whole, I'm totally with you. I was not into like I need to win at all cost energy. That's not where it's at for me. This isn't the Olympics. This isn't you know, like any the stakes are not high enough to hit people that hard. No, and you don't look like a cool person for doing that, I don't think. Like, no one likes it. And then especially on this show, if the person is the person that gets injured, that's like to their advantage because then they get the time with the lead. But I have to share my favorite thing about this first segment. And this is where I really came fully on board for the Aaron conversation. He says at one point, after Mike P gets tackled by Hunter, says, "No, Mike P. Oh, Mike P. Sorry, Mike P. Mikey P. gets tackled by Hunter in a very intense moment, and Aaron says in his to the camera moment, yeah, so Mike P. is booking it down the field. Hunter comes out of nowhere, literally like one of those people in the circus that gets shot out of the cannon and just nails him. It's funny because he's kind of like a circus dude. He looks like one." And then he just had this smile on his face like he delivered the sickest burn that's ever been delivered. And I was like, I love this. I love everything about it. I think I took a picture of his face because I was just like, I'm obsessed with this entire moment. I definitely like that moment, and I'm so happy that you transcribed it. Like, I'm living for that. He's so proud. He's so proud of that line. But you know what, though? Because he kind of does look like a circus performer. Like, and he did. Like, a circus dude. He looks like one. I think he's just a himbo, and I love that for him. I'm obsessed. Exactly. No, that was definitely. You're right. I'm coming around on Aaron. because I know that he's not interested in Katie really, but he's there to like point out how like he's saying out loud what Justin's been saying on his face. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so
and
I'm
what we're
starting
thinking inside.
Yeah. So I'm starting to come around to him. It doesn't seem right now that it's just like creating this drama. So now it's just like him commenting on the ridiculous of these other suitors for Katie's heart. So I felt so awful though, because like Justin tackles poor Michael and like it looked bad. And I think that Justin felt really, really bad. I didn't like that moment at all. Like he just looked like he got hurt. They made it look like he was leaving the show. Like when does the ambulance moment happen? Or was it just like a cut to the ambulance shot just to make us think that somebody leaves the game? Because Katie does mention like if somebody leaves, they can't come back because of these COVID restrictions and stuff like that. So like she wouldn't want anybody to leave because they wouldn't be able to return if they went to the hospital. So how'd you feel about poor Michael getting tackled by Justin?
I mean, that sucks. I'm glad he's not actually injured, but I do think it got him some good moments this episode, because then he got that time with Katie and also later on, and was kind of like, I'm injured, I can't move, you know? He got that sympathy.
And so this was the breaking point for Katie. She's like, we're not continuing on anymore. It's like, okay, we should never have had to.
Obviously, yeah, why are we doing this?
And then she says, you're all winners. Everyone is invited to the after party. And I'm just like, that's basically the cocktail party. Like, why change? I get why to change it, but like, they were fighting to have time with you. The injury happened because they were fighting to have time with you. If it was different, they knew they were all going to the after party, nobody would have been hurt. Like they've just been like playing a normal game and it would have been enjoyable. But instead, because there's these stakes and people are, competitive and they want to win, it became dangerous. And then you take away the whole incentive of like all the injuries.
Yeah, I know. And then I don't know, she probably would have done this anyways. They always do this.
I mean, yeah, but.
Like, so what, do they need to get injured? If we're just going to invite everyone to this party anyways, like, it's fine. We could just say, we're playing a game, and then we're all going to go to the party. And some guys would still be competitive. Probably. Hunter was clearly fired up. So, I don't know.
Because like then it'd be like still they'd have to be on their best behavior because they want the group date rose still, so they wouldn't want to become off cross too aggressive. They would be a little bit more considerate in their gameplay if like they knew that they were all going to be going to the after party and all be in contention of getting that rose. So I don't know why they want people to get injured or almost get injured, or it's just like it's not good. Not good. I don't like it. So at the after party, she immediately calls Michael to go and chat with her first. And this is where we also see Greg worrying about her interactions with the other guys. And I'm like, is Greg going to leave the show? I'm like, is that what really is happening? Like, I know we've alluded to it when we're kind of reading the end of season montages. But like this episode, I was feeling like Greg was going to be leaving. Because everybody else was having these deep connections with her, and I feel like he felt like he's falling to the background.
Yeah. Or that he's like, I can't handle this. Like, I can't watch this happen. I could see him leaving. I could see him leaving and coming back. I could see him, I could see a variety of things happening with him, but I could also see Michael leaving because there's that clip in the trailer where his son's like, what does he say? He's like, Dad doesn't want to hang out with me or something like this. And I was like,
Dad doesn't like being with me anymore. And I'm like, someone made that kid say that. They Frank invited that sentence because there's no kid that's going to be like, Daddy, stop loving me because he went on a TV show and never sees me again. Like,
yeah, it was really intense.
Not true. He's been gone for a month. You FaceTime probably every evening. Like that. Yeah. that was Frank's right.
It was like, Daddy loves the Bachelorette more than me. Like,
Daddy doesn't want me anymore. Daddy's gone forever.
It's really heavy. It's super unnecessary. But I could see if he got a message like that from his child, just being like, I can't stay here. I can't. I have to go back to my son.
I would definitely. Well,
I don't mean to laugh if it is real, but I'm just like, this is ridiculous.
But the thing is, too, if it was, I don't know, I would feel as though having a Skype conversation with my dad would be enough to get, like, just be like, hey, we can talk on the phone every day. I still love you. Absolutely. I'm coming home soon. I just like, this is some business and I have a big surprise for you when I get, like, I just feel that the kid is reasonable enough to know that he hasn't been deserted and just left for abandoned by his father. Like,
I hope so. Yeah.
I'm sure that he's with family and people that love him and that he gets to talk to his dad every day. So anyways, I know that they must have clipped that together because I just don't say that. But I'm sure that a lot of other parents knows what Michael would be going through. And so it would be triggering probably for them to be like, oh my God, leaving my child hopefully would be an experience that would benefit them in the end. But, you know, it could be hurting the kid a little bit in the interim. So I get it, but I'm just being a brat.
The way they cut it was sensational.
So you get some more points here, girl, because Conor. Okay, what is with these mini dates that are happening? So I felt, oh my God, he needs a stylist. I don't know who is dressing him, why he owns any of the shirts that he's worn so far, but he's playing a damn ukulele, singing her, serenading her with a song, and so you get 5 points for that. But what's with these mini dates? So she has obviously her time with Michael, and we talked about it briefly already, that she's like, I don't know, she just said how much she likes him and she didn't want to get hurt and she felt bad, blah, blah, blah. And then Conor's playing and singing a song. And then we get cut to Aaron. I can't stand Hunter. And I'm like, here we go again.
He hates everyone. He hates everyone. But he's got the right thing in mind because every person that he's called out has been kind of trash. So, you know, maybe he just understands people's true essence deep down. Or he likes to get into fights. One or the other.
Well, I think that he might just not be mature enough to know when to hold his tongue and when it's important for him to share this information. So I think that it's just a little bit of loose lips, you know, because yes, this might be what a lot of people are thinking, but he seems a little bit naive enough to be expressing it outwardly all the time.
Yeah, for sure.
BB says this happens every season with the person who gets the first one-on-one, then falls into the background for a while. Yeah, but she, I think, really gives him reassurance. Like, I don't feel that he should feel like, she might look like she has something with everybody else, but she has something with me. Like, that's what I would be thinking if I were Greg, because I feel like she likes Greg the most, but I think that she's the best fit with Blake, personally. Yeah. Courtney, so what was with Quartney having her wrap him with toilet paper? Because when shit goes down, wait, what is this? What are you saying? Wait, I'm gonna beat the toilet paper when shit goes down. Okay, I'm on a roll. What? I love that. Oh my God, I love that. Do you?
This is so ridiculous. I didn't understand why he was doing this now. This seemed not even. What was this? She just wrapped him in toilet paper so he could make that joke?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness gracious.
And then
so far behind everyone else, if that's what you're doing.
What about Mike P? He's like, well, you know, I like to talk in sports terms and, you know, first base would be memorable. Is that you asking her to have a kiss? Okay. I mean, I appreciate the effort there a little bit, but it was just like, what's happening? Why is there this montage of these very cringe-worthy mini dates that are happening at the after party of this rugby date?
So bad.
And
they
then
all are maximizing their time. They're using their time. Okay.
Yes, they want to use it wisely. They want to create these special moments. So then Hunter, I was so worried about what Hunter was going to do. I was like, I don't know. Like, I don't know why he turned into, like, he just turned into somebody so bizarre. With like
He's
just
rising into the villain role, the new villain, Hunter. I don't know. I actually don't know. He's like delusional, it seems.
Maybe he just wants to go out with a bang because he knows he's not going to win. Like, just get as much camera time as possible, because it's like, it's bizarre how he's acting. And it's a pretty big change from even when he was interacting with Thomas, he wasn't this guy. Like, it was a different guy that was interacting with Thomas. So I'm just like, what's going on here? And I was worried because what he was going to do, but he did something pretty good. He was like, I want to share something with you. And he shows some photos of him and his children. He doesn't introduce his children to many people. And so he wants to introduce Katie potentially to his children. And he shows her some pictures and he's like, yeah, that's Dad, Hunter. Which is the line. It's good.
Trying to show another side of himself. Because we already saw the side at the group date that was not great. So
not great. But I definitely thought that it was the move. You know what I mean? Like, oh, show him in like a good light. Like, Dad is Hunter, whatever. Hunter, Dad, Hunter. So I thought it was a good move. I didn't think though that he would get the group date rose, but he does. So I get 5 points.
I'm actually shocked.
So
what's Katie doing?
I'm not sure.
Like, you were to Trey last week and to Hunter this week? Oh my goodness. I can't even take that seriously.
And then before Hunter gets the rose, while it seems like he was still in his mini one-on-one with Katie, Michael starts sharing with the other men about the fact that it was Laura, his wife's birthday the day before, and that he never really wanted to share that with them. They just want to get to know him before he kind of reveals like this sad part of his life. And so everybody's like crying, and Andrew M is putting his arm around him, and Greg goes up and hugs him with tears, and Greg is then crying in his confessionals. And I was like, is this where Greg is going to leave? Because like, he doesn't have this deep, soulful story that Michael has. And like, Michael and his optimism and his belief in love, like, Greg doesn't feel that way about Katie, so he wants to leave. Like, why do you think were the tears? What do you think was going on there? Because it didn't seem to me it was solely feeling compassion for Michael. It didn't feel like that.
Yeah, I was confused about it myself. I mean, like, maybe he's just like super emotional, and it could have maybe brought up memories of his father's passing or something, and maybe that's why it really affected him. But I was having a difficult time gauging like what was really happening with Greg in this moment. And I don't want to doubt that it's like not something that emotionally affected him that way, but it was a pretty intense reaction.
And then he immediately goes over and talks to Katie, and they do have, a good conversation. And I thought that Greg was going to get the group date rose, because I do think that he was like, I like you. I want you to know that I like you. I'm having a hard time here. And then she's even saying like, I'm so glad you're staying and that you're allowing yourself to be here because I want you here. And so I really thought that she was going to give him the security that he needed from her and give him the group date rose. And so when she gave it to Hunter, I was like, the producers must have made you do that because they want to push Greg to the edge. They want Greg to leave and maybe come back and make that moment.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's going to work. Greg is starting to crack for sure.
What did I write about Aaron? Aaron thinks that Hunter... What did I write? I can't even read what I wrote. Whatever. So Andrew M gets a date. We love Andrew M. I think that he's a really good guy. I don't really want to talk about the entire date because I thought it was
Andrew S.
Yes. S is 101. S is 101. Yes. And so the date was pretty crafty. I mean, we're not going to Paris and Italy, and we're not doing all these jet-setting dates in COVID version of The Bachelorette. But like the first part of it, she like brings over lanterns to pick him up, and they go outside and they're walking through, I don't know, forest or whatever. And then there's a switch and there's the twinkle lights, and like they have all these envelopes hanging from somewhere. And so her partner has to be able to lift her up. And so it's some sort of metaphor for a moment. And they had to answer these little questions on a date card or do the dare. So it's like, what's your signature dance move? And poor Andrew's like, is like the whoa. I'm just like, I can't take TikTok moves seriously, guys.
Bringing back memories of Matt's TikTok dance. My favorite silent film is Matt's TikTok dance. I
need to upload that actually. Why did I have
to that's the best thing you contributed last season to my life was that.
Yes, that was really good. And Maggie is like
in silence.
It was definitely my favorite moment. They also have to imitate an animal. She didn't really care for his animal. What's your perfect day? Tell the truth and hurt. Would you tell the truth and hurt your partner, or lie and allow them not to be hurt? Then they kiss. And then they break some hearts like a piñata. And there's also more questions coming out. It's like, what'd you learn from your parents? And I think it was Andrew that says, no, I said that I feel like it does feel to me that they have been dating for a long time. They do have a nice flow. It is relaxed. But I felt in general that this date was a friend zone date.
It was a poorly executed date. I thought it was going to be like a carnival thing or something where like you go into the middle of wherever and then they plug it in. And then, oh my God, it's a Ferris wheel or like something else. I was just like, what the hell is this? This is like a Netflix teen drama set. Like, this is not, maybe that is what they're going for. I don't really know. But I just thought it was a weak date and also kind of awkward for that reason. Like, they both seem to be trying to go with it, but I don't know that I even buy that he actually likes her that much, to be honest.
I don't think so. I think that they have a good friend vibe. I don't feel any sexual chemistry between them. And I feel that these questions, which they're icebreakers, absolutely, but they kind of, to me, means that they can't have a good conversation without them, and that's, I think, a little bit of a problem. So BB says that Greg was practicing his crying lessons from acting class. LOL.
That's the thing. I can never take him seriously for that reason now that I think that it's just his acting. I'm like, do I believe this? Is this like a Rachel crying at Matt's prayer for them like situation? Like, I don't know. It seems like something's up.
BB, and I'm literally going to find that Matt's clip. I'm going to cut it and I'm going to put it in my YouTube shorts. So
it will lift you up. It will make you feel so good inside because it's so ridiculous. And that with Maggie's reaction too, which is so good. And she's just like, great.
It's
so funny.
I'm Gordon. I'm literally. Can you? If I don't do it, remind me to do it, please, please. So I think Katie. He says, "Tell me a secret." I like you,
Katie girl. Woo! What's going on?
They're in a balloon room. I was hoping that maybe like Andrew was like scared of balloons or something. Like that would have been a moment.
That would have been more interesting, honestly.
It really would have been, and I would have had a good time if one of them was like deathly afraid of balloons. That would have been pretty good. So they do have a dinner portion because they kept on alluding to the fact like we had to wait till it was late at night to do this date, and it's like, you mean like 9:45? Like, I don't know.
I'm like, what's dinner? 1 a.m.? Like, what's going on?
It seems that way. But I was surprised that they did have a dinner portion after they did all those outdoor activities. But they did. And they do have pretty in-depth conversations. And part of the conversation I thought was most poignant, we'll say, was when he asked her what her perspective is on potentially having mixed race children. And that is something that a lot of, we'll say, white women don't necessarily think of when they have a child with a black man, or even any sort of like mix, is because if you have a drop of black, you're considered black. So no matter what, the man is always going to look as though that they could be the father of the child. And so he was mentioning that his past relationship, his partner was worried that people wouldn't think that her children are her children. And so that, I guess, was part of the reason why they didn't last. And so he asked her that, and she was like a decent response, being like, oh, well, I'll tell them to F off and F them, and my kids are my kids. Cool. But I wonder if she really considered what he was asking.
That was what I found a bit off-putting about her response. Like, she acknowledged that she's naive to certain things within his experience that she won't understand, which is fine. But I don't think she really, like, her answer being like, whatever, fuck that shit, or like whatever she said, and just being like, I'll love them no matter what. It felt like very like, I don't know how to phrase it. Like, there was just something about it that I found a little bit off.
I don't think that she actually considered what he was asking or like suggesting.
Like, actually, like, really thought about it. Like, really, for real, thought about it.
It's kind of like, especially at the beginning of COVID, there was a lot of, like, there's one TikTok that really stands out in my mind specifically. And it was this young black boy that was just talking about all the things that his mom told him not to do to keep him alive with the police. And so just even having that conversation with a black son is, every single black son has that. Like, it's part of their life experience, is to have that conversation with a parent or, a teacher or somebody. Like, everybody gets that lesson. And so for the fact that she's not even considering the different lessons that she was going to have to watch her children experience living in the world as a person of color, and just being like, fuck them. Like, I mean,
like, I don't care what color they are. Like, it's not that simple. Like, you do have to think about that still. So that was where I was kind of confused about how I really interpreted like what she was saying there. But I mean, like, these conversations are so surface on this show too. Like, I think it was a valid thing to talk about for sure, but I just like, my expectation that they're going to really get into it is low. And this sat exactly at that surface level for me, where I'm like, well, I guess I'm glad that this is being discussed, but if you're not really going to discuss it well, or like go into it in a real way, then maybe this show shouldn't even be showing it. I don't know. Like, I'm confused with how I feel about it in general. I don't know if I'm articulating myself properly. But
I'm totally with you here, because I'm kind of like, he was asking something valid and something that is important. It's kind of like if somebody, similar to, I have a child, how would you feel about the fact that, like, I'm still in close contact with the mother? Like, it's a valid question to ask, like, do you know how you would feel about this situation? Like, you gotta know what you're getting into here. And so, I just didn't feel like she answered it in a way that I would be like super excited to have children with that person. Not that she wouldn't be a good mom, not that she wouldn't love the kids, but the fact that she wasn't necessarily willing to take a look at what racial biases her children might experience and what she might put up, like, you know what I mean? Like, there's a bigger conversation that she was completely avoiding, and that would worry me a little bit if I was getting into a relationship with somebody.
Yeah.
At least
it was weird. It was weird. It was odd.
It was odd, but you're lucky again. I thought I had him. I forgot I don't have him. You get 10 points here as well. You get a shirtless Andrew S. and the one-on-one date Rose. So you got another 10 points here, girl. You are nailing it on these 10 pointers.
Just getting it.
So Where were we? It was the first week without drama, and it's the most intense. Oh, so all the men were talking. So I guess it was before the actual rose ceremony. Yes.
Yeah, they're getting ready for it.
And yes, it was intense, but like I don't think it was more intense than the other weeks. Did you?
In the first half of the episode, I felt it a bit more, but I have to admit my interest dwindled as it went on. Because I was just like thinking about some of the guys that were still left. There's definitely like so many people that could easily just have been gone. So I was more so thinking, are we getting the rose ceremony now? Please.
That was like, they better give us the rose ceremony because this whole episode.
Like, we cannot do this.
I'm not down with not having a rose ceremony. I need more people to leave. Get out.
Especially when Quartney did that toilet paper thing. Like, let's not wait another week to find out that he's not going to stay. You know, like, please don't postpone that. We see what's happening. We know who's not staying.
He can't be staying. Can't be.
There's no way.
I'm gonna give myself 5 points because Brendon gave her a cocktail.
Yeah, he did.
Please. And so it is a rose ceremony. Oh no, it's the cocktail party. And Justin has another icebreaker type game that I actually didn't understand the rules to.
I think you were supposed to. What were the 2 phrases that they had to say?
Yeah, I didn't write it down.
I think one was like you answer with one of the phrases if you disagree with the statement on the card, or you answer with the other phrase if you agree. But I forget.
But then people were answering it, so I wasn't sure if they were commenting on their answer and being like,
I think they were both answering, and at times they were different. I thought it was a cute idea, though.
I mean,
you basically just did what the one-on-one date was, but it better. Like,
true. I mean, that's my point, is that these little icebreaker things are good in like little quick, when they don't have a date plan and you're like, oh, I want to do something special that I can just like hold some cards in my pocket and have a moment with her, not like building a set with twinkle lights. Like, I appreciate it in this moment. I think it works very well. And I have a big crush on Justin. People, I don't know if it's a real thing, but people have been like, Justin for Bachelor. I would be all down for a Justin Bachelor. I'm into that for sure. So I definitely thought that it was a good moment that he was able to create. I felt a little bit uncomfortable when she's like, I don't know, just give me the sex one. I want the sex one. Give me the sex one. I was like, no, Katie.
Staying true to the sex positive angle.
So, okay, how did you feel about this moment? And yes, I think I get 5 points here. So Hunter takes Katie over to have a look out of the telescope and have a really quite elaborate mini date at the cocktail party. And he already has a rose. Aaron and James are livid about this. Obviously, if you want to get mad about somebody, like find Aaron.
Sit with Aaron.
They are pissed. And so I think I get 5 points for James, like, I'm going to have to go take her. And so he goes and tries to interject, gets the rejection, hovers in the background, and goes and cuts in again. So I do feel like that's a 5 point moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
For sure.
Awkward as F, for sure. Eventually he does let him have like a moment with her, and she's like, "Well, you do have a rose, and like hopefully that makes you feel like you know that I want you here." And so he leaves. He's like, "I'm leaving, but like I'm coming back." Like in his confessional, "I'm coming back. This isn't over," or something. And I'm like, "Why? Just let them. Like, why do you need to have? You have a rose. You have a rose. If you didn't have a rose, I'd be annoyed, but it would make a little bit more sense." You had your mini telescope date. She enjoyed it. It was nice. You got in a couple extra minutes. James cut in. You let him have it. Like, where's the be kind? Be like, absolutely, James. Like, sorry, I took some more time. Like, we were just like had a moment, but floor is yours. Like that would be nice,
Especially because you're not a front runner. So like,
he thinks he is.
Get it twisted. Like,
what do you really think that he thinks he is? Like, he says, like, oh, I'm the only guy for her. No, I can't see any guy with her, and only me. Like, does he really believe that?
Deep down, no, because he wouldn't be acting this way if he really believed it deep down. But I think maybe he thinks that, or he's trying to think that to like make up for something in his confidence that's not comfortable in this experience. But you got to think of that moment when you're going to cut in on someone. It's like a Pokemon card situation where it's like, that move works on certain Pokemon, but not on all Pokemon. So if you're cutting in on Hunter, that's not going to work because he will be the person to say no.
No.
So you have to know when to play that. You play that on a more shy person, on a person who's not going to, try and come back at you and be confrontational, like bad play. Like you got to do it at the right time with the right person for that to work. Because then they won't step to you. But Hunter, no,
Not
that's
Hunter. I mean, I don't even know like what James thinks he does. And is it me? I really feel like James looks like a mobster from like the 1920s. Like just kind of like he was always like, you know, like his hair's like slicked back and he's in his 3-piece suit and he's just like all buff and like, suit.
Very committed to that hairstyle. Very slick hairstyle.
And with his accent, like he just seems so mobster, mafia, like I kind of like it, but not for Katie. Like there's no universe where I see him and Katie working as a couple. Not even what dimension?
I'm surprised he's even still there, but I don't know what he's thinking. He seems like a cartoon character to me. I don't know. He doesn't seem like a real person.
I saw some like on his Instagram or something, and he's so buff, and just makes me a little bit uncomfortable. Yeah. People are so buff. Like I'm just like it's just like it looks like your muscles are gonna pop. Like
their buffness is their identity. When their buffness is like who they are, I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, that's not. I just don't. It's not for me, and I don't see it for Katie at all. But we'll find out that he sticks around a little bit. I'm going to take another. Well, I get 5 points here because there's a little bit of a Trey and Hunter fight because they are annoyed, obviously, that Hunter goes in and has this. And when Trey had a rose, he let everybody else go first. And then he was, stepped aside just to make sure that everybody got his time because he knew that he was safe. And so the fact that Hunter didn't have the same respect, Trey got a little bit heated. So I want taking some points there. Gotta. So Tayshia comes, and Tayshia and Caitlin come and grab Katie. It's rose ceremony time. Greg is called first. Aaron second. Michael third. Conor. James. They kissed though. They did kiss on their little moment. So maybe she's like, "Oh, I kissed him. I can't get now." Justin, Mike P, Brendon, and Trey. So Trey did end up getting the rose here. So the people that left were Josh, who's he, Quartney with a Q, and Andrew M. They applauded though Quartney. What's with this? Like
I don't understand.
With like the stand-up guy, like you like good run. You had a good run, Quartney.
I don't know. It's only for the person that they like. They clap for the other guys.
It's only clap for John and Quartney so far that I've noticed. Okay, BB wants to know if we had to choose one of these guys for each other, who would we pick? Out of the people that left or the people that are still in there?
Yeah, important distinction.
Okay, you let us know which way, and then I'm just going to top up this. Okay, and then, oh my God, the most awkward moment at the end of this episode. Please tell me that you clocked it. You must have.
The toast?
Yes, the toast. So Aaron starts with the toast. And then Hunter cuts in and completes the toast and completely stole it from Aaron. So I'm getting $5 for 5 points for that toast, especially because it was a steal.
It was a steal in presentation of editing. So not to give Hunter too much credit here, but remember how we found out last season that everyone does a toast? Remember? Everybody does a toast, and they clearly put it that way. I feel like that the points still stand because it was so awkward. But I think they cut Hunter's toast, which happened at a separate time, on top of Aaron's toast. Because that was so, like, Aaron barely reacted to them being cut off.
No, and he was just like, I feel like he was fuming. I feel like he was like, I can't believe. Like, I feel like he was just getting enraged. Like, and he just.
Something was up with that editing, stitched together by a thread. But I did laugh because it was funny. Exactly. Like, that was so, I was like, I cannot believe how blatant this is at this point. Like, they're not even trying. It was as blatant as the Blake that happened earlier in the episode.
Oh,
where it just came out of nowhere.
That was a way to end an episode, because like they even had like the villain music playing when you just like, you know, to see 100 like, oh, no, and I was like, God.
More importantly, I wanted to hear Aaron's toast because I was feeling it would have been so stupid, and I really wanted to hear it.
That was the best part of the episode. That and the Blake and the your recital of Aaron. Yes. Those were the moments. So Aaron is becoming a star here.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be around much longer based on the supercut, but I really am here for everything that he's offered thus far.
He's won me over though. This episode he was winning it for me. Okay, so Bean wants to know. He said our choice. So let's just do both then. So out of the people that left, I would choose for you.
Wait, just from the people who are gone?
No, we'll do both. So I'll do the people that left, and then you do the people that left, and then we'll do the people that are still there, and then you do the people still there. Okay. So out of the people that left, I think
you're gonna pick something so random for me, aren't you?
No, I'm gonna be realistic. I'm gonna give you Andrew M. Now, we didn't see a lot about him, but I do feel like aesthetically you guys would look really good together. I feel that, like, you know, he has a good profession. I think that you'd have, like, great intellectual conversations. I just think that we just didn't get to learn very much about him, but he was there to comfort Michael in that moment in a way that it wasn't awkward or uncomfortable. I think that you guys actually would probably be okay together. Like, I think that you'd be a good couple.
I'm here for him. He seems sensitive. He hugged Michael during his story. He seems to not be very dramatic. Yeah. He seems like he has a real career. That's appealing. Yeah. I'm into it.
And so out of the three that are left, who would you pick for me? I don't want to hear why. I can't wait.
Out of the people who are still in the game,
gone.
We're gone?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the obvious choice, of course, is Thomas, right?
Oh no, I mean gone today, but I guess you could say Thomas. Tell me about why Thomas. That's fine.
I just know that he's your type. Of the three that are gone today, who else was eliminated? Quartney and
Josh.
Josh? Do we know anything about Josh?
We knew that he's lost a lot of weight.
I mean, no. I don't see any of these options for you. None of them seem like your type to me. Me
neither. Most would be, I could maybe pull something out of Andrew, maybe.
Yeah.
He would be the most likely, but not so much.
Of people still in the game?
Yeah.
For you, I'm going with Justin.
Yeah, of course. Why?
I feel like his passion. He's also the artist. Mm-hmm. I feel like, I don't know, I could see your personalities working together. And I feel like maybe his level of intensity of what we see is also balanced out with like somewhat of a sense of humor as well. So I could see it working, but he seems like he's about like having a connection with somebody. Yeah. And I don't know if that's your thing, but I feel like it would be just based on how you're intuitive with people and, you know,
and yeah, he's a Gemini, which is good. So we would most likely connect intellectually. So yeah, I think that you are correct there for me. And then for you, I mean,
Lake Moines.
I forgot about him. Well, Scott Roses? No, I don't. Not Blake. I think that even though, okay, we're just gonna put aside the fact that we think that he's acting. I think that Greg is your guy for who's left. He's very cute. He does seem like, I feel like you guys would get along better than he gets along with Katie. You know what I mean? Like, I think that you would have a little bit of a banter. I just really see you guys working better than they're working. And you guys would look great together. And I think that, I think you'd like him.
I will say the one thing in favor of that is that my partner is like the youngest of a bunch of siblings. And I'm the older sibling. And it's the same thing from what he explained in his situation. I think he's like the youngest of his family. For some reason, that type of personality, I don't know. Not that I'm into it. It just works well with mine because I'm so used to being
the boss,
if that makes sense. Absolutely. So it tends to work for me in relationships because
you're the boss.
The guy has to, and the guy has to be able to accept that. Like, they have to be like comfortable being that person. And I feel like a lot of youngest siblings actually are comfortable being that person. But
that makes sense. Oh my God. So you and Craig would be it. Who else got a
guy?
No. Andrew S. You said you really, or Andrew M.
I like Andrew. I do like Andrew S. He seems actually fun to me.
He seems fun, but I feel like
actually enjoy being around.
Long-term relationship, I would say more so Greg. For you.
He just gets everyone, doesn't he?
He does. Thanks for the question, BB. And look at our timing here. This is insane. You can tell that the episode was boring when we're only an hour and a half. Do you have anything else that you want to share? Oh, we should look at this. Look at our scoreboard here before we peace out. So you got a lot of points, but so this is where we're at right now. So we got to get rid of, for you, thank goodness you got 2 that are going.
Bye, Courtney. Bye, Josh.
And then, where is he?
I still can't get over that toilet paper.
It's like, you know, people were like hoarding toilet paper at the beginning of the pandemic, and you're just wasting it like that. And then I'm getting rid of Andrew.
Wow.
Is that it? So I have Brendon, Hunter, James, Trey, and Michael left. And you still got Aaron, Andrew, Blake, Greg, Conor, Justin, and Mike. So I think next week, though, you might lose a couple people because I think Conor's going to have to say bye soon.
Yeah, it seems like they're not progressing with the intensity that they began with.
Yeah, and then Aaron.
He's only not a contender for winning. He's bound to be out soon. Like, there's no way. Unless they put him on a 2-on-1 with Hunter, that would be jokes.
Now, with the season-long trailer, what is going on with Mike? Like, what's happening there?
I don't understand because they just like edit them lying down and they're both in like all white outfits, and then there's just a whisper that's like, "I love you," and what? I'm like, clearly this has nothing to do with this. But then he's also walking away, and she's like crying or like standing there confused. I don't really know.
Me neither.
Where they're going with that, or if they're actually trying to do something with the virgin angle once again, which we thought they might try and do. Because I don't even see that she likes Mike that much.
Not at all. Not at all. You're welcome, BB, and that was fun, actually. Yeah, I don't understand what's going on with their relationship. They've kissed now, so that it seems as though if you kiss Katie, you will stay an extra week. But I think that Mike is going to be out next week, maybe. I don't think Brendon's going to last, or James either. I do think that Hunter Trey was on the button, though. Maybe Trey's
on the verge.
He could be close to going. He could be gone next week too. So I might be left with like just Hunter.
And Michael.
Well, Michael is gonna go home. You know that.
Maybe it's not that serious of a conversation.
I mean, they do the redirect like nobody's business. So yeah, maybe.
We'll see. I don't know. When's a 2-on-1? Are they gonna do one?
With like what, Hunter and Aaron?
With anyone. I want a 2-on-1.
Who would it be with?
I thought it could be Hunter and could be Aaron with anyone. Jeez. Because the guys just made feuds with every single person that's here. But I imagine Hunter and Aaron makes sense because of the drama. But I could also maybe see Conor on one just because he's like kind of on that, had early frontrunner status and kind of diminished. I find sometimes that person ends up being on the 2-on-1 and they edit it like, oh, obviously that person's going to stay. Like they had such a good connection and then they go home. So I could see something like that happening. Though,
that Hunter is a front runner for the 2-on-1 because they usually like the villain at the time, you know, like remember Chad was on the 2-on-1. Like they just seem like the people that are most toxic at the time. Usually
go on get a 1-on-1.
No.
Like there's no chance.
2-on-1 with Aaron is what I'm feeling. I see where you're going though with the Conor. I just don't know who you'd go up against. Like he would be in the same lane as Michael. And I don't see them putting Michael on a 2-on-1 date.
No, I don't see that either.
So who else would he put? He wouldn't be put with like Justin. That doesn't make any sense.
No. And it seems like Justin gets a 1-on-1. It looks like maybe
this is an elaborate date that he decides to do at the cocktail party. Like, who knows?
Yeah, at this point, it could be anything. So who knows? But
who knows? Well, it was
I'll have to watch it a million more times and see what I get out of.
I'm going to send you, I can't remember who does. I think it's Bachelor Fan Take usually goes and dissects like the trailers. And so I do want to see what he thinks is going to be happening because it looks actually dramatic and I do want to know what happens. And I kind of wish that we watched the rest of the season right now.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I know when they separate it all, it's just not going to be as dynamic.
Oh, for sure.
I want to see it. I want to see it as impactful as this trailer was, but I don't think it will be. Anyways, it's been a joy chatting with you about The Bachelorette. Please, everybody, do us a favor. Subscribe. It makes us feel good. It makes us happy. And yeah, follow Tanya and follow me and hang out with us all the time and chat with us in the chat room because we love talking to you guys. So we'll see you again next week at, I believe, 9 p.m. If anything, if we change it, well, I'll make a post and you guys will know. So we'll see you guys soon. Thanks for hanging out with us. Ciao. Leave a comment. Subscribe.